What's going on, you prolific pig-pumping penile poltergeists? Welcome to Grunt Speak.
Live from the lair!
That's the Fat Punisher, and I'm the Toxic Male. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show.
Listen, I'm wearing a striped shirt to make me look thinner.
Oh, ordinarily, you do horizontal stripes.
Yeah.
So if that's Waldo, what is this?
I have no idea.
The clam burglar? You're refereeing like the hog slaying Olympics over there or something?
Yeah, maybe. You know, what are you going to do?
I mean, one of those colors is like 3-day-old piss, just to be clear.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot to be said about 3-day-old piss.
Yes, there is. I love how you're like, yeah, I'm drinking my healthy herbal tea, and now I'm just going to drown it with a bunch of bourbon.
Yep.
That's how it rolls, man.
And it's called Fuck You, We're Fighting Right Now.
Yes, that's absolutely
It's not
true.
whiskey, which is, fuck you, we're fighting the parking lot.
Yeah, you have to have the patience to fight when you just drink regular whiskey.
Yeah, let me turn my phone off so we don't get any.
Which is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because Pete, right? Isn't Pete the one who always
There's
tries to fuck with you once we
there's
go
a
live?
bunch of guys out there who have my number, and they call me during the show.
Yeah, I get emails, during the show. Hey, show pop this. I'm like, dude.
All right, so I'll just give everyone an update on my mom's situation. All right. She went into the hospital because during the night she just could not catch her breath, and she was having a lot of problems. So they went to the emergency room. By the time they got to her and they drew her blood, she was throwing a there's an enzyme in your blood when your heart is getting damaged.
Yeah.
They found it, and literally they basically stabilized her. And then the next morning they did a procedure. Well, there was two different procedures. One, they went in there to basically open up the vessels and try to roto-rooter out some of the crap that's in there. And then they went in about an hour later and they put stents in her heart. So, yeah. So she's at home now. She's, really beat up because they had to cut into her thigh to get up in there to do whatever they're doing. It is what it is. She's 77. This woman has been through hell. A lot of it at her, she smoked for like 40 some odd years. It is what it is.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And no PT, and she eats fairly well. But, it is what it is. You get old, shit just goes fucking south.
Yeah. And you do have the same haircut. So.
Well, kind of. Yeah.
Or at least she used to.
Yeah. It is what it is. Everyone who has their mother still alive, just make sure you're caught up on all your I love yous and goodbyes, because tomorrow is promised to no one.
Jinx.
Even
you.
you.
Coke.
All right. So that's what's up with that. Now, today's show, we have an individual who was approached by the FBI to be an informant, and he turned him down, and he was, promptly discharged from the Marine Corps on a bullshit technicality. And, so we're going to talk about that. Now, before we go into a lot of detail, I just want to say this. I know a lot of guys in the alphabet agencies of this country. Most of them who are rank and file guys are ordinary dudes like me. All right. It's only the top asshats that have been, flipped, to turn them into political agencies, which they're not supposed to be. Now, ever since we had the stunning and brave ice cream social incident in 20 and 2022, somewhere between 80 million to 110 million people are thoroughly fed up with the horse shit that we all saw that transpired. Now, that puts the guys in law enforcement at a huge disadvantage. They are radically outnumbered. Okay? And like you heard with the Whitmore thing, like 12 or 15 individuals in that whole plot were all FBI informants. Just so you know. I myself was approached by the FBI in 2020 because I was starting the Preppers. I gave it an infantry name, and they came and questioned me about starting a army to overthrow the government. I literally said, please say that again slowly because stupid doesn't stick on the first pass sometimes. And then I literally told them, like, listen, I'm just doing comedy. I'm talking about current events. But if I come across any crazy shit or somebody's going to do a mass casualty event like Oklahoma City, I am not going to remain quiet about this because I can't live with that kind of guilt. All right. I don't think anyone would. Now, am I going to be wearing a wire and No, I'm not doing that shit at all. Okay. I'm just saying, as a person who wants to save lives, if I come across something that big, all bets are off. All right. Now, let's bring in Paul.
All right. Ladies and germs, introducing Paul Kaltenbach.
And he's still got his goddamn basic training AIT haircut.
Hair doesn't grow that quickly.
And he's all decked out in his KFC plaid right there.
I like it. I like it. All right. So let's before we get into the actual situation, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Paul Kaltenbach. I went to basic training, got kicked out. So now I'm here.
Now
I'm from Rochester, New York.
Okay. So you're from red trash land.
Yeah, basically. It's the middle of nowhere. Canada.
Yeah.
People kept referring to that. It is Canada boot camp.
Oh, okay.
It is.
And which Marine base were you on? Pendleton or?
I was on Parris Island.
Parris Island. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's usually where most of the noobs go to get minted as fresh Marines.
You have sang the praises of the infantry that come off of Parris Island.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest. The straight leg infantry guys that come off Parris Island, the 0311s, at that point in time are probably the best infantry examples on the planet. All right. It will take like individuals from the Army. It'll take them an additional 3 to 6 months to get to that level. Only if they go to a unit that has a high op tempo and will train them even further. I'm talking like 82nd Rangers. It used to be 7th ID. Units like that. The 101st is good too. But other than that, it is what it is. Now, this individual, apparently he had some interactions with other individuals. Why don't you walk us through this?
Walk us through it. So how long were you in basic before all this came to a head?
You went all the way through.
I went all the way through. I was less than a week from graduation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. Listen, that's just how it works. All right. They probably already knew they were going to shit can you, and they just wanted you to stay all the way to end just to punish you more.
Yeah. Well, not everybody here knows the story. So,
Okay.
Paul, I mean, let us know what went down.
Yeah.
Because I've read through the article, but I want to hear it from you.
Yep.
I'll just start from the beginning, basically. So it all started like, I don't know if it might have been like 4 or 5 days from graduation. We had been doing something in the morning. It might have been a PT. I don't remember what it was. Then our first sergeant comes in and goes, "Hey, everyone needs to go to the 3rd Battalion building, the headquarters, to do a survey, platoon survey with Department of Defense civilians." So our entire platoon goes over there. We're all sitting outside waiting to get called in.
The hurry up and wait. Yeah.
Hurry up and bye.
Everyone gets called in. They do this survey with everybody in the platoon. And then they go, "Oh, well, we want to keep like 10 of you back just to do like Q&A on the survey."
Uh-huh.
Like, what do you think about the survey? What do you think about the questions? The questions were like kind of stupid shit.
Yeah.
It was like,
listen.
Who do you trust? Who do you not trust? Who would you want to go to combat with? That type of shit. And then the last one was, is anyone part of an extremist or hate group?
All right. Well, first of all, a hate group literally can mean anybody.
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's that's very
Well, in today's day and age, all the people pointing fingers at hate groups are usually the actual hate groups.
Yeah, you're right.
Wasn't a lawyer for the SPLC just arrested for domestic terrorism? I rest my case.
Yes, you are correct. All right. So they're doing a survey. They hold you back to do a survey on the survey. Continue on.
So then they're like, okay, everyone's gonna wait out here to get called in to do this survey on the survey, but you have to stay in the specific order of people that they told you to wait in line as. So it's like, okay, whatever. We listen to stupid shit all the time and do stupid shit, so I'm not supposed to have to stay in an order.
No, yeah, listen, I've stayed in so many goddamn lines, I'll never remember them all. I mean, I was a master at the gay nastics of hurry up and wait. Okay, I understand completely.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was at the very end of the line, so they get through everyone else, and some people, they were taking like an hour. Some people, they were getting out in like 10 minutes. It seemed completely random.
Okay.
Like, and we were all wondering what was going on because everyone sensed something was off. So like every time someone come out, it'd like, would they ask you, what's this about? What's up?
I bet you 10-1 they were basically giving a similar offer to those individuals who went in before you.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of them, whenever anyone came out, it was just, they just asked me about the survey, and then we talked in depth, or with the people. Like, there was one kid in there that didn't speak English at all.
Okay.
They took him in for 10 minutes, sent him out. Next.
Yeah. All right. So what happened?
So they pulled me in for an hour. We actually talked about the survey. What did I think about the questions? And then, like, weird questions about me, like, what's the happiest thing? What was my favorite moment in boot camp? Just shit like that to get me like comfortable,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they're like, okay, well, this isn't actually about a survey. We're with the FBI. They did the quick little badge flip thing. Where like they show you their badge, but they don't actually tell you their names and shit. So
okay.
And they're like, this is about your security clearance, so you have to answer these questions if you want to keep your job.
All right, yeah. As an intel analyst, you gotta have a clearance.
I know. I had done an interview with NCIS before for it. I knew, so that's why it didn't really like throw me off.
Okay.
Because I had done it, and they had said there's a potential. There was a follow up, so okay, this is the follow up.
All right.
I found it was a little weird. The follow up was after like a fake survey.
Well,
I like that you call it a fake survey. That's very honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interrogation thing that gets you talking about something else, and then once they get rapport and you're comfortable, they turn on the heat.
Yeah, the people who want to look deep into your eyes, almost like you're a romantic lover, and keep repeating your name with the start of every fucking sentence to make it feel like you have some sort of pre-existing relationship. They teach salesmen this stuff.
Yeah. You are correct.
Yeah.
All right, so continue on.
All right. So after they go, we're with the FBI. This is about your security clearance. They're like, we just need to ask you some questions. Are you a part of any extremist groups? That type of stuff. And then they said, we got to ask you about some people you've known. And they bring up this one guy I knew for a little bit.
All right.
We were friends on the internet.
You were friends with him on the internet for how long?
Like, I think we had talked on the internet for about maybe a month or two before that.
Okay. All right.
And then he was kind of like just traveling the country a bit, like going all over the place. And I'm like, oh, you should come up here.
All right.
So he came up there. We knew each other for about like a week in person. And then we were out. He wanted to buy a van because he was traveling in a car and he wanted a nicer van to be able to sleep in and shit. So he didn't have to be like renting hotels.
Okay.
So we go out to look at this one van. I went with him because I know a bit about cars. And I was just like, whatever, I'll go out there.
All right.
We check out the van and then we start to drive back, which this is like a 45-minute drive. And we get pulled over because his car was like bunk, basically. It was kind of not really registered.
Yeah. It's
kind of dumb. If you're driving around, have your car fucking registered.
Yeah, I got you.
They pull us over because the road we were on is like huge for drug trafficking in the area.
Okay.
So I think the cops thought that we were running drugs in between this one town that's like has a crazy drug problem and the city.
Hold on. Red Trash, New York. Those
Has a drug
motherfuckers are cooking meth and growing weed like it's going out of style.
100%.
Some of them have stills. Don't even mess with the still guys. That's just booze. But yeah, so I'm way familiar with the red trash land you live in.
Red.
Yeah.
All right.
So they pull us over. They pull me out of the car. They start asking me questions. I immediately just I plead the fifth. And so they just put me in the back of the squad car.
Okay.
And so I just sat in there. They said they were going to tow his car because it didn't have like a proper registration. And then they went to inventory his car.
Mm-hmm.
And they find his rifle, which is illegal under the SAFE Act.
Uh-huh. Well,
Thank you, Cuomo.
Technically, he can beat that in federal court because the Supreme Court's already shot that down.
Apparently, he was also a felon before, and I didn't even know that. And apparently, he's a felon.
That could be a problem.
That's a problem. A felon with a gun. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he's kind of screwed on that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they arrested him. They let me go because I didn't know anything about his gun. I didn't, and he claimed it. He's like, yeah, it was his.
Uh-huh.
So they let me go. They arrested him, and that was pretty much the last time. Well, after he got bailed out, I basically was like, sorry, I can't really hang out with you, like if you're going to be in trouble and shit.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, best of luck to you, but I kind of can't be involved in that.
No, that's reasonable. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just going to let you know right now that if the FBI knew that you were talking to him, every email and every text you've had with that guy is on a docket somewhere. Just so you know.
I'm sure of it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we part ways. I move on with my life. Eventually, I get around to, I went to community college.
Okay.
I realized I didn't like community college, so I decided to join the Marine Corps.
All right. Well, it is what it is. Okay. Now, what were you going to college for?
Like forestry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got you. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and then
I didn't actually like that. I was bad at like showing up to college.
No, I understand. I was the same. Listen, when I got out of the off active duty to go to school, I treated it like a goddamn job. All right. Now, I know that if I had gone to college without going in the military, there's no way I would have completed it or done well at all because I literally had no fucks to give.
Yeah.
I was sick with the whole thing. And mainly because I went all the way through high school with dyslexia that was undiagnosed. And I literally thought I was some kind of idiot. It turns out I'm not. What are you going to do? All right. So you go through the thing. Now, did anyone else in your class get, kicked out as well?
No one else. No one else in my platoon got kicked out during this event. I think the other people were just randomly chosen.
Okay, could be. It could be that they offered him a similar deal. Now, I talked with a former Marine Corps recruiter. He's retired now. And I talked to him about your situation, and he basically said that they discharged you. That was 100% on the Marine Corps to do that. The FBI, they can make recommendations, but, they're not the ones that pull the strings. It's the Marine Corps.
I mean, that has some validity, but at the same time, with the politicization of all the alphabet agencies and how they've been basically just wiping their ass with the Constitution.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was some bribery or threats made in order to make this happen.
I wasn't in the room. I don't know. I'm just telling you what the Marine Corps guy told me. He's like, more than likely, the chain of command, they were pissed off at you and they were looking for, just any way to punish you. and they basically, said you knew an extremist, you didn't disclose it, even though you only met the guy for a week.
Yeah.
All right, he's not like a friend. He's more like an acquaintance. You talked online, and I got you.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna just listen. They fucked you, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up.
They're like an extension of the woke mob now. Instead of going back 10 years on your Twitter to find shit you said that was wrong, they want to, cross-reference every acquaintance you ever had. Oh, you bumped into him at the store one time? Well, you're guilty by proxy.
Pretty much.
Shit.
Listen, all I could say is that it was the USMC that did this to you. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably a blessing in disguise. I know Marines, and the Marine Corps is not good to their people. There is a reason the retention rate is in the goddamn toilet.
That's for all branches of the military now.
Now, but I mean, the Marines were listen, the Marines live and breathe on a reputation they acquired in like the late 1800s and early 1900s. Because back in the day, before we had all of, airplanes and parachutes and helicopters, the Marines were usually on a ship offshore. If shit went down, they were the first ones in. All right. But after World War II, they're done. I mean, we have airborne. We've got all kinds of rapid deployment units. They're kind of an afterthought now. And you can see it in their commercials. It's always about, bravery, gallantry, duty, honor. Yeah. Listen, when I was in Langstuhl, Germany, the Marines fucked up and put a lance corporal in my room who had shrapnel damage to his arm, and it hit a nerve, and he couldn't move his fingers. And I go talk to the gunny, and I'm like, why can't we get him seen here? He goes, he's going to Bethesda. I'm like, well, when are they going to fly him out? About a week and a half. I'm like, absolutely not. That is horse shit. We're in a hospital right here. He's got to get fixed here. Because if you wait a week and a half to reconnect a nerve, it might not take. And he's just like, hey, those are the instructions I have. I go, well, they're stupid. I get back, get on the phone, call one of my buddies who was a senator here in Michigan, just a Michigan senator. He ran for federal senator a couple times, but he was a former commander. I filled him in on the situation. I got the kid's name and social security number. 2.5 hours later, they literally knock on the door. There's a gurney. He gets in right to the OR to get unfucked. And the whole time it's happened, I'm looking at the gunny, and I'm like, you're fucking up here. You know that, right? He just shook his head. But that is just how expendable they treat their people. It was unbelievable, and I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know what happened to that young kid because I got moved to another room after that, but they moved me to a room with upper enlisted in there, so I didn't have to share a bunk with E3s and E4s, which I don't give a shit about. I'm an enlisted guy. I'm no better than they are. I've just been doing it longer. That's it.
There you go.
That's the only difference. I've been on the earth sucking air longer than them. That's it.
Yeah. We got a really funny chat in here from Chris, who has some advice for Paul. He says, just tell him you're a trans woman. They'll make you a general.
or an admiral.
A rear admiral.
God, no. But here's the thing. Hey. Here's the thing. If they're doing this to you, they're probably doing this to a lot of individuals.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay. And now they wanted you. Now, exactly what did they want you to do?
Well, the one thing was they wanted me to tie the guy I knew to the North Carolina power grid attack because he lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
Close to where it happened. And they're like, listen, if you can solve a major terrorist attack like this, $250,000. and you can just go back to doing whatever you want. That's cool, whatever. No one cares.
All right.
And then also there were two other propositions on the table of potentially staying in the Marine Corps and working to find like terrorist cells inside the Marine Corps, or to leave the Marine Corps and work as a confidential informant on the outside, joining a bunch of different neo-Nazi and white nationalist groups. Yeah.
Okay.
Naturally. It doesn't even sound like they wanted to solve the case of the power grid attack. It sounds like they wanted a patsy to pin it on.
No, they were desperate. They're like, did he say anything like hinting at it, or
now
like
listen,
just talking about the concept, stuff like that?
Yeah, that attack shut down the power grid for a lot of people, and I'm almost sure the assets at the top are pushing down, trying to get these guys to get results. Unfortunately, when that happens, there's a very good chance people who aren't involved are going to get hemmed up for it and go down.
Yep.
Because, listen, our legal system is effed up and needs to be overhauled. Because it's getting to the point where you can't – everything is a felony.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where the alphabet agencies will literally manufacture crimes just to throw people they think might be extremists in jail. You already mentioned the Whitmer kidnapping plot, which was like 12 glowies and 3 average dudes who had nothing to do with planning or executing it.
Yeah. Listen, that was very troubling. Or the
Ray Epps. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or in the individuals in the January 6th craziness.
Yeah, Ray Epps. There you go.
Yeah, literally, I looked at this. I looked at the security camera footage. You can see them letting this people in and giving them a tour.
Yeah, I mean, the QAnon shaman.
Yeah,
he literally had a police escort through the entire building. They've been breaking down all that footage on Tucker. It's been hilarious.
I know. Don't get me wrong. All right. I would love to punch that dude in the face just because he wore that stupid goddamn hat and walking around like just an absolute idiot. Just an idiot. That was so goddamn stupid. All right. But listen, that's a side note. You should not go to prison for 4 years because you're an idiot.
With a bad fashion sense.
Oh, my God.
If fashion sense was a crime, you'd be on death row.
Yeah, like I was there in D.C. on January 6th, and literally I was way back watching one of these big screens as Trump was doing his deal, and they're like, all right, we're going to go down there and protest, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, not a good
I'm
idea.
like, there's a lot of people here, and like they're all pissed off.
Something stinks and glows in the
dark. And I'm like,
around.
I have like this feeling in my stomach. I'm going to a hotel room and eat a sub.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Literally, I went to me and a bunch of. I was working security there for a couple of events, and all the people on our team got on the subway, went back to our hotel, and I watched all the crazy stuff on TV, and I'm like, I'm glad I wasn't there. I was in Virginia when that was going on. But I mean.
Humbly Rise in the chat says they are searching out who will blindly take orders without questioning. They need soldiers willing to fire upon their own citizens.
Yeah, well, that is a possibility, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we know that if they're bringing in CRT at all, the foundation of CRT is Marxism. Marxism is all about destroying the family, dividing people into smaller units, getting them to fight amongst themselves for the scraps. We know this beyond the shadow of a doubt.
I got you.
If the military is latching onto that as an ideology, we're fucked.
All right, let's show his Give, Send, Go so we can get some eyeballs on it for him.
Got it. I will post links in the chat shortly here, but yeah, this dude, he just wants to rebuild his life, ladies and germs. So it looks like you're almost halfway to your goal, good sir. Fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to thank everyone who's donated. It means a lot.
It does,
Awesome.
yeah. But, you know, like, I'm going to do everything in my power to correct this injustice, in my opinion. If I'm successful, I'll get you into the National Guard system, and then you can hang out there for 6 months to 8 months, and then go to an active duty recruiter, get a paragraph and line number, and then you fill out a packet with your command, and You know, it is. And if you need help getting some horsepower on that, I am good at administrative violence, and I know how to make the wheels of the bureaucracy in the military work just a wee bit faster. And listen, with your attitude, I'm telling you, you need to be an 82nd paratrooper, a Rakkasan in the 101st, or a goddamn airborne ranger, in my opinion. All right. Now, you were in the Marines to become an intel analyst. Is that what you're telling me?
Signals intelligence.
SIGINT. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me tell you how it works. So say you become a private in SIGINT. Your duties are getting batteries, radio watch, setting up antennas. Then there's all of the cleaning and the bullshit that they make you do because you're a nug and you don't know shit. And quite literally, it'll be 2 or 3 years before you get up to speed where you can use the more complicated stuff effectively. And by that time, more than likely, because the Marine Corps treats their people like shit, they get out of the service. That's just how it goes. All right. Now, do you still want to do that in the Army, or you want to do something else?
I honestly, I probably want to do something else. The entire time boot camp, when we were doing we actually got to do the cool shit when we were on the range or we were at BWT.
What's BWT?
Basic warrior training.
Oh, okay. That's a gay name. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, I just kept thinking about, this infantry shit. It's cool. All the stuff we're doing is cool. You know?
Yeah, it's cool when you're young. Yeah, I get you. Like you do the 3-second rushes, the buddy firing teams. You know,
excuse me, I'm down.
Yeah. Throwing the hand grenades. They teach you all the basic anti-tank missiles and all that stuff. Now, if you're successful and you make it into the Ranger Regiment, you can literally write your own ticket to do anything. Because let me tell you, airborne Rangers make up a majority of the special forces, and they fill a majority of the seats at Delta, or they call it CAG, Combat Action Group. Those guys are the heavy hitters. All right, now, if you don't want to do anything crazy like that, I got you. But at your age, you want to see some action. You want to do good shit. I got it. And I concur that maybe you should go the infantry route, in my opinion. Okay, and listen, you already went through basic and AIT for the Marine Corps. You're not going to have any problem doing it for the Army at all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what has transpired since you left the Marine Corps?
Well, after they kicked me out, immediately I started making calls, telling people what happened. I got contacted by a reporter from the Justice Report who wanted to do a story about me, and which I've got to thank them because they really blew up my story.
Okay, good.
Made it as big as it is right now.
All right.
Then when I finally got back to New York, I got followed around for a couple days by people in Black Ford Explorers.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I got
in
you.
Black Ford Tauruses, and they would circle at weird times, and so you can smell that shit on them.
Well, this is how you handle that with class. All right. If you're in your house and you see them out there doing their deal, order them a pizza from Domino's. All right. Or just walk out there and shake their hand and, hey, what's going on? I have a friend of mine who works for embassy security. He's one of those high-paid individuals who works for the embassies for the United States. And it's like a cat and mouse game. Whenever he goes on his day off, he goes out and about on town. He's always followed. So literally, he comes out with a pad of paper, writes down his whole thing. This is where I'll be all day. So if you lose me in traffic, you can just pick me up. Literally, and they're like, "Oh yeah, cool." Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah,
kept taking pictures and waving.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now that your phone is probably bugged through the roof.
Yep.
I want you to do a little research on Pegasus. It's a program that was put together by Israel, and then our government picked it up, and literally they turn your phone into a walking surveillance.
Yeah, didn't you run a test on your phone?
My old phone had it.
And it was on there?
Well, something was on there.
Okay.
And this is the main reason is, they take the phone, they put it overnight into it's like a Faraday cage, but it detects all of the transmissions, right? And literally my old phone sometime between 1 and 3 in the morning was uploading just huge amounts of data.
Damn.
And I'm like, well, I was going to get rid of the phone anyway. It is what it is. But, I'm not doing anything illegal, and all I'm doing is talking about real-world shit and saying crass, vicious jokes while showing pictures of women's asses and titties. That's about it.
Genial.
All right.
So, how long did is this still going on, the being followed thing, or is it kind of subsided?
It was kind of just the first couple of days where I got followed. Then I stopped. Well, I would have noticed if I saw it. I didn't see it, so I assumed it stopped. I know they've contacted random friends of mine from high school. Weird shit like that.
Yep. Yeah. That is how I found out that I was getting looked at by the FBI. They had contacted an individual I knew. He called me as soon as he hung up the phone, gave me their number. I called them, and I'm like, "Hey, we need to do a sit down. I'm getting in front of this. I'm not running from shit." And I went and met him, and we talked, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like I've said, the rank and file guys, they're just doing their job. All right, now, all right. So let's just say that there is a big attack, and then a bunch of people get killed. People are going to want to find out exactly who knew what and all this stuff. And it looks bad for the alphabet agencies when they're like, "Oh, we didn't know nothing about it." All right. So, I understand the pressure they're under. I really do. And the rank and file guys are not the problem. It's the top 3 levels of asshats at the top that are doing all this. In my opinion, of course, I don't really have solid evidence of that, but I've just been paying attention to what's being talked about in the media, and that's the kind of
well, if something looks like shit, smells like shit, has a bunch of fruit salad on its fucking chest it didn't earn, chances are it's shit.
It's shit.
Mark Milley. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know.
Yeah, General Milley.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I'm not calling out anybody in particular.
That guy's an asshat.
Yeah, asshat with a capital S.
I listen, I am not a fan of officers, and I make no bones about it.
West Pointers.
A large majority of all of the officers I have ever known were mediocre at best. And a large percentage of the mediocre were straight up incompetent.
Major Worthless comes to mind?
Yeah. I have literally seen officers shit the bed, floss their ass with the sheets on their way out the door, only to get promoted and moved up to the next layer of responsibility. And they fuck that up. And then oh, we got to get rid of this guy. Let's promote him. And then before you know it, these guys are colonels, generals, making crazy decisions for the normal people. And they shouldn't even fucking be there.
I don't know what it is, man. It's like Hollyweird and the military now have the same thing in common. You just kind of fail upwards.
Yeah, and I've seen that a lot. All right, so if there's officers watching the show, yeah, I'm sorry, but go fuck yourself. I personally don't know you. I'm just,
You have bundles of sticks.
Just as a general fucking rule, fuck you. All right, now, do I in 33 years, there are 12 officers that I would follow into hell. All right.
That's a very short list for that long in the service.
4 of them are now dead, and all but 1 are retired. So once that last one drops his paperwork, all the officers that I ever served with that I would literally move heaven and earth for are no longer in the service. It is what it is.
There you go.
And now I'm telling you, here's another thing about enlisted. All right. You make it to the rank of E6, E7. All right. You get a mediocre officer, and you're a little upset, but in the back of your mind, you're like, if we get rid of him, they're going to send somebody even worse. So you literally jump through hoops to make sure this guy learns the lessons, doesn't do stupid shit. You know, you're like, oh, that's a good plan, sir. But, you know, if we do it this way, less people will die. So how about we just do the less death thing? I've given that briefing probably half a dozen times in my career as well. But, you know, it is. And I was one of those sergeants where I would have a battalion commander escort a second lieutenant to my office and say, this is your new platoon leader. Teach him right. Because they knew if they sent this guy to some other like weaker sergeant, he wasn't going to learn those critical skills and experience that you need at the beginning of an officer's career so you can move forward and not be a complete asshat for the next 20 to 30 years.
Allegedly.
You are. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, when it was my turn to retire, the highest rank I had achieved in the Army was first sergeant. I held it for 3 years. I took an admin reduction so I could stay on the AGR program. And so I get they do the packet. They're going to retire me as an E7. And they're like, well, you're just going to have to fix it after the fact, the Army Board of Corrections. I'm like, oh, I am? I don't think so. Get on the phone, call my old team daddy, who's now a goddamn 1-star general. Tell him the deal. He's like, yeah, who's this? Yeah, you have my email? Email me all the details. So I email him all the details. The day after, I got a new set of orders retiring as a first sergeant. And it took a general to make a phone call. Hey, don't fuck my boy. No, I'm not playing around. There you go. So, and listen, if you get into the military and you stay long enough, you will make all the same friends. You will have all the same contacts. You know, you're going to see a lot of the same shit I saw. It'll probably be a little different because who knows? There might be nukes dropping in 5 to 10 years. You know.
Who knows?
Yep.
But, well, actually, where'd it go? Where are the butts? Where are the butts, Pop? Did the butts disappear?
I don't know.
What happened to them? I have no idea. Are they right there? No. Why are they gone?
You got rid of the butts?
I don't know. No, I didn't get rid of them at all. They're just not working.
Oh,
That's
what the
quite
fuck?
unfortunate. I'm going to fix it.
Oh, my God. We need butts.
I did it right before the show. Boomer
right.
moment, apparently.
We got to see some asses in here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anyway, I was going to say we do have a recruiter in the chat. He's been a guest on the show before. He goes by Philip Oliver Holes on the YouTube chat. He is a recruiter, and he wants to talk to you. So I told him to drop me an email, and I will put you two guys together after the stream.
All right. Because, now, listen, I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm just a dude, all right? But I would like to think, after all the shit I've done, I become a good judge of character, all right? And I'm telling you right now, the vibe I'm getting from you need to do some great shit with your life. And the military is probably one of the first steps. Okay? Now, it is what it is. I would like to see you, move forward, do great things, and have a long, healthy, happy life. One with full of contentment. All right?
I fixed it.
All right, we got it? All right. Got a nice... Oh, there's another one.
Yeah. What really blows my mind about this whole thing is that just recently this was released. I'm going to show you guys this here. 77% of Americans aged 17 to 24 are not physically fit for military service, the Department of Defense says. Okay?
Yep.
So you already have a shockingly small percentage of the population from which you can choose from. And now you want to whittle them down even more by playing ideological three-shell Monty?
Yeah, well,
fucking break.
in the military, we call it fuck games.
Fuck.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is all, he's caught in a fuck game.
This is weapons-grade dog shit. One question that I had for you, Paul, is that ever since the story has come out, have you had anybody get in touch with you in regards to similar things happening to them, or have you been kind of standing alone on this one?
Well, I've talked to a couple of people who have been like kicked out of like the Marine Corps for similar bullshit, and they're like, "Yeah, sorry,
It's all the same
sucks to
shit.
suck." Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, if you have contact with them and they still want to serve, there's ways to get them in. Okay, it is what it is.
Yep. And you're definitely not the only one. Just a casual search online, people with the FBI getting involved, like rejecting the offer to become an informant. I found 2 articles on the first page. So here's one guy refused to become an FBI informant, and the government put me on the no-fly list. And then we have this guy here. He declined the FBI's offer to become an informant. Then his life was ruined.
Yeah.
All these are available on Redonkulas.com.
What did they do to him? Did you read any of it? Or?
I didn't go like too deep into it. So apparently he's a Middle Eastern dude from Pakistan. Got a bunch of text messages, what have you, wishing him well about some good news that he had not yet received. A guy's name was Khan, and age 31, came across a text that revealed what was going on. Congrats, Bo, your best friend is getting married. You must be so happy. Khan logged onto Facebook to check the page of his childhood best friend. He realized that Ahmed had unfollowed him and restricted his access to the profile. Meanwhile, the pages of his other friends were congratulating him on his engagement and the wedding that he had apparently announced for that summer. Ahmed, whose full name is being withheld at Khan's request and who did not respond to requests for comment, had shared every moment of his life with Khan since they were kids. Yet he didn't even tell him about his engagement. I realized he cut me off without saying a word, unfollowed me on Facebook and on Instatwat. I can't even explain how shattered or humiliated I felt. People were messaging me from around the world saying they were looking forward to seeing me at his wedding. I didn't even know how to reply to them.
Okay.
Lay back in his bed, yada yada. So many small betrayals over the years since his problems with the U.S. government began. Acquaintances quietly severing ties, phone calls and messages left unreturned. Even parents of friends telling their children that it's just too much trouble to associate with him.
That's actually fairly common.
Yeah, they basically got everyone in this dude's life to cut him loose because,
I mean, listen.
Yeah, good times.
And that's another hard lesson men are going to have to learn is as you build your value and you get a sense of self-worth, people are going to disassociate with you or either through jealousy or what have you. So some of that could be involved in this. But this is another country, so that's a whole different animal.
Apparently, what happened was, I'll show you here, while he was visiting the U.S. a decade before on a visiting visa, he was visited by the FBI. He was an international student attending Northeastern in Boston to study business management. After graduating, he returned to the U.S. on a visitor visa, and while staying with family, he was approached by the FBI with an offer to become a paid informant for the Bureau. He declined. After leaving the country a few weeks later, Khan and his legal team believe he was placed on the no-fly list as well as the terrorist watch list. I would say it is very unlikely that he is on the watch list, said Naz Ahmad, a staff attorney of the Creating Law Enforcement Accountability and Responsibility Project at CUNY School of Law, who worked on Khan's case. Proving his place on a secret watch list by its very nature is impossible without government confirmation. So
There you go.
it's one of those things where it's like... It happened, but we can't prove it happened.
But
however, it's like we know that there are particles that exist in the universe even though we can't see them because of the effect they have on other particles. That's basically what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and like we got, he's not a U.S. citizen.
No.
So there's fuck all he could do about it.
Yep. And that seems to be kind of the thread between these 2 articles right here. It's a very similar thing. This guy is also a Middle Eastern dude from outside the country. So there you go.
Well, I'm going to listen. I am for America. I am 100% behind U.S. citizens. Other citizens of other countries, fuck them. I don't give a shit. I don't.
Pop's gonna come and take.
I'm just telling you, fuck them. They can suck a dick. All right. But the thing is we got a young guy here who's starting off his life, and I really don't want to see him, get fucked up like this. Have you been contacted by any attorneys?
Not really, no.
All right. I highly advise you to make some phone calls to any, federal attorneys that sue in federal court, and talk to them and see what's up. Now, I know there's an attorney in Texas that I talk to from time to time who actively sues the government, 3 or 4 times a year. So I could try to get you in contact with him. So we'll see. All right. So you're just laying low right now?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to try to get some recruiters to see if we can help you out, man.
I hope we can reach your fundraising goal. So it's already gone up a little bit just since we posted it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome.
And no other reporters have contacted you?
No, it was pretty much just the Justice Report, and then I know someone did an article about that article, but they never talked to me, and then you guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's fairly common. They do an article on an article.
Let's be completely honest. You're the wrong gender and the wrong color for the lamestream media to give even half of 1/4 of a shit.
Yeah.
No, I think we're down to half of 1/4 of a damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even up to the shit or fuck level.
Yeah. Like say, if you were to, as soon as they announced this, if you were to have been like, well, I guess you're just kicking out a trans woman, they would have been like, oh, no, wait. Are you going to get your surgery? No, I think I'm good. I just identify as a woman for the purposes of fucking you over.
I got you. But my thing is this.
They're going to plow you in the ass. You might as well be a power bottom.
You went through basic and AIT, and you were 1 week. I mean, how many weeks were you in there?
13 weeks.
13 weeks. All right. So you had, that was your basic, and then you had to go to your AIT school after that, correct?
I did. Yeah, that's where I was supposed to go. Actually, the day that I got kicked out was the same day I had gotten orders to go to MCT at Camp Gag. So.
Okay. All right. So they got you at the very end of basic. You didn't go into AIT. Okay. All right. Well, if you get back in, you're gonna have to do basic again. I'm sorry. It sucks. They're gonna cut your hair. They're gonna do all the same shit. You're gonna have drill sergeants from the Army yelling at you. They're gonna call you all the names in the book, make you run around. I mean, it's the same old. It's a fucking game.
It sucks, man.
I'm used to it.
Yeah. Listen, you've already made it past. Like usually, when it takes about 8 weeks in basic training before you realize you're like, this is one big fucking game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm 18 years old. My drill sergeant's 36. Let's run this fucker until he dies. And literally, my whole platoon, our platoon guy would be like, all right, let's pick it up. And we'd literally outrun the drill sergeants. They'd get so pissed.
We did that too. We would sprint places where they'd be like, hey, we didn't tell you guys to sprint. Yeah. No, we would sprint.
Yeah, I got you.
Well,
and they get mad and they make us do 50 push-ups when we get back. But, you're 18. By the time you've been in basic for about 2 months, you could do push-ups all day.
Yeah.
You do chin-ups all day, sit-ups all day. It's like, what else you got?
When you're 18, you're basically indestructible.
Yeah, and they're absolutely correct. I was. And I miss being indestructible. I hate being old, slow, and feeble. But it'll happen to us all if you stick around here long enough. Just saying.
That's why you want to check out at 65.
65 and out is looking like a very good plan right now. I'm just saying.
Pizza and chicken wings.
Yeah. All right. So it's unfortunate you got caught up in this craziness. I really don't see any. I mean, you didn't do anything wrong other than just say no. You only knew this guy. You only knew this guy for a week, so he's not technically a friend. He's just an associate you talk to for online here and there, and you met him for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to him? Do you know?
He was in jail for a bit because he got arrested for that. I think he's on like Well, he has like major medical issues, so I think he's on like home release or whatever because the dude like can't even like walk now. Like he had like
oh shit,
rhabdomyolysis, and he got some type of like massive like infection in jail.
Okay, so
he got fucked pretty hard.
All right, so
this is the best guy they could try to patsy for this thing.
Yeah.
A dude who probably physically couldn't even pull it off.
Well, from what I understand about the North Carolina thing was
talk about grasping at straws.
I thought you were throwing one at me, motherfucker. I believe that was done with high-powered rifles, so you could literally, you have a good 200 or 300 meter standoff. And you're not going to get picked up on cameras. I mean, that's just some of the information I heard, and it's not that difficult to do.
I'm just saying, if this dude can barely walk now, he's not pulling off a coordinated attack with a high-powered rifle, at least not by himself.
Listen, I'm just telling you, I don't know if he could do it or not. I never met the guy. I'm just saying that
man,
it's not that difficult.
Hercule fucking Poirot would call that a stretch.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I don't know. I mean, we just had that Antifa attack on the training ground in Atlanta. And they arrested like 30, or they detained like 35 people.
Oh, yeah, that's where the ASPLC attorney got arrested.
Yeah, and literally they're saying, they were just doing a protest. Now, I looked at the video, and I did a zombie apocalypse about this.
Yes, you did.
All right, where they literally, using Twitter, Signal, whatever, they put the word out that, they're going to do something.
Twatter.
And then you have people just flocking from the four corners of the earth to do it. I mean, that is insane. Yeah. Now, I mean, I know there are some militia units in the United States. There's quite a few of them now.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything like that. Not that I know of. So, I mean, it's not like I talk to them all on a regular basis, but, I do see a lot of on some of their websites. I have seen some of our videos, especially when I do anything I talk about. The two-way rifle range usually winds up there.
Well, technically, any man or woman of fighting age is the militia.
Yeah, technically, you're absolutely correct.
Try to pin that down, alphabet poopers.
Well, listen, like I said before, I understand the pressure they're under and what they have to do. I got it. All right, I'm just saying.
That was a good opportunity for a buzz.
Yeah. What I'm just saying is this. There was no need to fuck your life up like this.
No.
All right. I thought that was a little over the top for me.
Over a passing acquaintanceship where you literally only knew the dude in person for a week tops.
And like, you have integrity. You're like, no, I am not going to accept money to narc on people.
Yeah.
All right. I got it.
Snitches get stitches, man.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, like I said before, if I catch wind of a massive attack or something that's going to kill innocent people, I don't think I could remain quiet.
No.
I really don't.
Something legit like that, yeah.
And they wouldn't have to pay me.
Yeah.
I do not want to see people die.
No.
I've seen that. I've been to 3 goddamn wars.
You've seen more than enough.
I don't want to see that here in this country. I don't.
This is a dude who literally cannot even be in the room if somebody's cooking bacon.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, and I can't go into like, what's the meat place right down the street?
Cattleman's?
Cattleman's,
yeah.
All right, Cattleman. There's the main store I can tolerate. Then you go through the sliding doors into the big meat locker room. I have to put Vicks Vapor Rub up my nose, and I can only stand there for about 10 minutes because the smell, it causes me all kinds of problems. I have like anxiety and what have you. It really fucks with me hard.
Isn't that what they did in Silence of the Lambs when they were,
Yeah,
they grabbed
that's
that
where
one
I got
body
it.
that they were using the Vicks Vapor Rub? Okay.
That's right, and it works.
You had your Jodie Foster moment.
Literally, I'll be like, I'm going in there and get my steaks, my hamburger, and I'm out. Well, I mean, listen, if you see actual combat and you stay in for a decent amount of time, you're not getting out the other end without something going on in your thinking meat.
Yep.
Everyone I know that has been to war, combat zone, they come back, they're not the same.
No.
It's just not the same.
And that's the gift-wrapped excuse that all military wives use to detonate the marriage and walk away with half your shit. He's not the same man I fell in love with.
That's right.
And the thing that's most fucked up about that excuse, even though it is an excuse, is it's not wrong.
No.
It's fucked
Absolutely
up.
correct. Absolutely correct.
Fucked up and not funny in this particular case.
All right. Well, I don't know. Well, let's see if we can get you unfucked.
Yeah, here's hoping, man. We're going to try to help you out as much as we can.
Yeah.
We got a great community of dudes here who love helping each other out, talking to each other when we're not even on streams. I mean, these people have gotten involved in each other's everyday lives. They look out for each other, and now they're going to look out for you.
Yeah. It's the Redonkulas.
Awesome.
It's the Redonkulas regiment, man.
Yep. No group showers allowed.
No,
That's the
none
only
of that.
rule.
No.
And no fatties in the MGTOW chat. For the love of God, we draw the line at full German around these parts. Specifically these parts.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Listen, some people send us some horrible pictures just to ambush us.
Oh God, you should see some of the shit that I've had to delete out of the chat today. I don't moderate the MGTOW chat, but there are some things even I will not tolerate.
Yeah. All right. So let's do a roll call. Who do we have watching?
Holy smoking Joe Frazier. We got 75 in the MGTOW chat. Okay, it looks like we're back to quality titties and ass. I'm fine with
All
that.
right. Good.
28 on Twitch, 21 on D-Live. Odyssey is rocking 74. Rumble is up 687 and climbing, and YouTube is sitting below Rumble.
Ooh.
At 634. Could it have something to do with this stream being about the FBI?
I don't know.
Did anybody else just tune in without getting a notification? Let me know.
Now,
in the
listen, I'm
comments.
pretty sure they're watching this.
I'm sure.
We release it to the public. Like,
Well-
I'm just going to say this again. I'm sorry it happened to you.
Yeah.
I understand why they're doing it. I literally do. They gotta. I mean, they gotta do something. I mean, half the country is fucking pissed off.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, you cannot argue with these numbers.
No.
When you have somebody who is on the cusp of actually graduating basic training at the best infantry turnout place in the country, and you throw him to the wolves because he won't rat on a dude who probably had nothing to do with what you're investigating, fuck you in the asshole with a big rubber dick. And this is from MGTOW Forever.
Ah, you bastard. Listen. Yeah, he likes to throw these penis straws at me while we're doing our thing.
One day I'm going to get one in your tea.
You better not.
I'm going to teabag your tea
You bastard.
with a big set of black balls, just like your wife used to like. Ex-wife. Ex-wife.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You're going to get me sued, motherfucker.
Hey,
You got to stop. You're going to get me sued. Hey! God damn it.
I'm going to bounce it right off the brim, and it's going to go in the
yeah.
glass, and then you're going to drink out of it because that's what bitches do.
All right, so let's just say you can't get back in the service. What do you want to do moving forward?
I was looking at becoming an EMT.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, do you realize that they pay those guys shit?
Well, yeah, but
All right, now I
I
know
pay
lots
me
of
one
guys.
shit too.
I know lots of guys who became EMTs. They worked for about 8 to 10 years, ruined their backs. They absolutely hate the job. They get paid shit and they work crazy overtime. And they drop their packet to go to a fire department and they get paid a lot better and they're not, getting their asses worked to death. So my advice, if you're going to be an EMT, as soon as you get your full qualifications and you've been working the job for like a year and a half, start dropping applications for actual fire departments because you'll make a decent wage. There's barring you're not an asshat or you get hurt, the job security is pretty good.
All right.
All right. Is there anything else? I mean, you thinking of working in the oil industry?
Man, I kind of want to do something that's like, I don't know, like exciting. That's what I was thinking, like an EMT, because you're like helping people.
All right. Well, there's the Foreign Legion. The French.
I've certainly considered that, actually.
The French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
You can do that too. You just got to get a passport and show up at their recruiting station and pass their requirements, which I'm sure you could do because you've already done basic.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. You could.
I've looked at it. It's something I think about. Like, oh, I could go do that.
You could
They give
become
me a fake name and everything.
Yep.
You could take after Pop's ex and become a glory hole attendant. Every day at work is a mystery.
Savage burn.
I'm an asshole. What can I say?
I gotta write that down. Every day's a mystery.
Hey, some people like surprises. Like dickworms. It's disgusting. We had to put an ass on screen just to get that image out of my brain, and it's all my fault. Red Pill Rhino says OnlyFans is how I pay rent.
All right, let's get through the super chats on YouTube, and then we'll move over to Alt Tech.
You got it, brother.
We're an hour and 5 minutes into this.
Yep. Heidi says Arnica fixes trauma and bruising.
Yeah, Arnica. Yeah.
Arnica. Humbly Rise, we already read that one, but thank you very much for the $19.99 donation. Once again, Crimson Hawk, what about an 18X program? It's fast track.
All right. The 18 X-ray program, I'm going to be honest, 98% of the people who show up for 18 X-ray are never going to make it, no matter how good they are. They just do not have the experience. Most of those, when they wash out of 18 X-ray, you know where they go? 82nd Airborne Division. So I'm just saying this. Coming off the street, 82nd or Ranger Regiment, they will teach you everything you need to know to make it through Special Forces selection. They'll prepare your body and your mind for it, and you'll have experience by the time you show up there, because typically you got to be in the service like 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. And by the time you're an E4 promotable, you can drop your packet to do that. At least that's the way it used to be.
Yeah. I mean, as I just, make sure that he knows that if you, go to Ranger School and you come out of it on the other side, you're going to look like you just dropped off a Schindler's List.
Yes.
Because this mother fornicator, I mean, you were emaciated.
Well, listen, that was that was 1990.
Well, yeah, they've reduced the standards since then.
Well, they give everyone 2 meals a day now, which is criminal in my book. Listen.
Why is that criminal?
You learn a lot about yourself when you're starving to death. You literally do. You're like, I can't tell how many times I'm in the patrol base weeping like a bitch. And I could hear Bad Pop quit. Just quit.
Was this the King Dong incident?
No.
During that time? Okay, just want to make sure.
And then I had Bad Pop. Fuck you never quit. Fuck you never quit. Quit. And
then Good Pop's like, I'm not getting in the middle of this.
I'm just telling you.
And he's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
That is the mental torment. And like, I talked to 11 Ranger instructors who are in Ranger School when those first 2 groups, the ladies, graduated. They did not have the same standard as men. It is shameful. So what they told me was insane. And I'm going to tell you right now, that 38-year-old woman who made it through Ranger School, if she was in my class in 1990, she would have died.
Probably true. Well, they just wanted to be able to tell the press that a 38-year-old woman graduated Ranger School.
Listen, 1 meal a day, you're walking 25 miles a day, digging holes, doing all of that Ranger School shit. No fucking way.
I just don't get how something that used to have, that level of prestige like Ranger School, Green Beret, what have you, has now become a participation trophy program.
Yeah.
For, diversity hires who, their next trophy is literally going to be a body bag. Because they're not going to be able to hold their own.
Or worse, they're going to get other people killed trying to save their ass.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like a ticker tape parade on that one.
Now, I've had women commanders. 2 of them were okay. The rest of them were terrible.
Dina!
Terrible. Just, oh, my God. It was, every time they would open their mouth, it was an orchestra of teeth and fingernails on a chalkboard. It drove me absolutely insane.
Did you have to answer up the command chain of diversity hires at Basic, or was it pretty okay?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Did you have to deal with like a command chain of diversity hires at Basic, or?
My command chain was they were pretty decent, honestly.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except for the whole
Yeah.
throwing you under the bus thing.
Listen.
Yeah, that part I didn't like, but
Look, all my
to be
recruiters.
fair, they didn't know about the whole FBI thing until like after it had happened.
Yeah.
I got you. But the thing
But
is
then,
this:
yeah.
all the recruiter guys I've talked to about your case, when I told them that you got screwed with your code when they get on your DD 214, none of them were surprised.
Yep.
All right. I'm telling you, that is their modus operandi. They do that to everyone. All right. And the code they give you isn't actually the worst it could be. Like I said, codes start with a 4 or a 5 become very difficult to undo. This one is tough, but it can be circumvented if done correctly. Okay? And listen, you're 18, bro. I mean, I don't want to offend you, but listen, you're young and stupid.
Sure.
You have no experience.
You still smell like pee. Is
Look,
what
yeah,
always like
you
to say,
probably just swapped out of the Depends, walking around diapers, so you can like pee in a toilet now.
He's got his pull-ups on, man.
Listen, I'm just fucking with you, man.
It's what we do around here, man. We roast each other as bad as anybody on this show.
Winning.
Crimson Hawk says, no group showers. What, you didn't agree to that? What, you want to be in the Redonkulas regiment or starfish poopers? You're like, you get to pick. No reach-arounds.
Starfish poopers.
MGTOW Forever says, my brother wanted me to ask you about the biggest 304 you've seen in the military.
Who, me?
Would it be the
Oh,
infamous...
my God. That was a bad one. Yeah, and she'd been kicked out of the barracks like 7-8 times before doing almost the exact same thing. It was like her hobby to come in and like entertain like a platoon of men. That was nasty.
Whatever. I mean, some people enjoy picking scabs. She's probably one of them.
Well, the thing is the one time, when I was on CQ, when it was going on, when I was in the hot seat, I was not playing around because, I mean, that could be your career right there.
True.
And I go up there and there's like 2 E6s. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to go to jail. Ah! But that's where that more cot comes from. Literally, she's like, more cot. I was like, oh, my God. Right in the day room, 4 feet from the goddamn pool table. I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah, that was that biggest 304 I've.
Did she? I mean, she was right next to the pool table, so did she at least like put the blue tip on the end of each one?
I didn't see none of that. There was another
you gotta
one.
chalk it up before you jam it into her face.
There was another one. Her first, I'm not going to say her last name, but her first name was Lois. And she was a pincushion for the Rangers. She banged like probably 2/3 of the battalion.
God, man, you should not be Eskimo brothers with the people in your unit.
I mean, that's
just saying.
She probably banged like 200 or 300 guys in like a year and a half period.
That's like a 150-foot drop.
Yeah, I'm just telling you,
Disgusting.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, with the way women are today, it's probably even worse.
Oh, I guarantee you it's probably
my
worse.
God.
What about you, Paula? Did you meet any 304s in your time in basic, who would come around trying to get with the dudes in uniform?
Probably not.
We had a woman platoon. They were interesting.
Interesting
About
how?
60% of them were like lesbians, like legitimately.
Yeah.
So they kept to
that,
themselves mainly.
They have to pretend like they don't need a man. Meanwhile, they have 12 of his dishwasher-safe analogs at home.
And listen, like you go into the men's barracks, right? It smells like armpits, maybe some farts. All right. You go into the woman's barracks, and it smells like 3-day-old klooch. You're like, it's terrible. It's like they unzipped 100 vaginas and just let it air out into the room.
What happens when you get a bunch of women who have to be around each other 24/7, 365? They all sync up.
Yeah, they do.
So you're talking about, I don't know how many dozens vertical axe wounds all bleeding and going apeshit at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
That cannot be hygienic, and it can definitely, it's no air freshener.
No, it's disturbing.
You just walk around with one of those like green trees just dangling off your nose. You walk in there. How's it going, ladies? First sergeant, what's going on? Now disregard the penis in the corner. All right, keep going.
All right, what's the next super chat?
What do we got here? Crimson Hawk says, Pop, where's the link to Pop's Preppers? There's no link, but if you go to the link tree in the Meat Gazer box, you can click on that. You can send an email to Pop directly. All you got to do is ask to be put on the list.
Yeah.
And bums you're on.
I just sent out another newsletter like last week.
There you go.
Yeah.
And all of the newsletters are cumulative. So even if you missed the first 10, when you get your first newsletter, the previous ones will all be in there.
Yeah, and typically I go to the end of the document, I put in the new stuff, send it out so you can read all the rest of it. And about 2 years from now, it'll probably be as long as a book.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is about 9:15, and I think we all need to take a break and empty our squirrel bladders. We're going to jump on over to new tech. We have Randy in the YouTube chat says, I can't find y'all on Rumble. Well, you know what, Randy? I'm going to do you a solid. You see this link here?
There it is.
Click it.
There you go.
All right. We'll see you guys in 5 minutes with better butts and more uncensored language. Not like we do a good job censoring ourselves around here.
No, I dropped a few F-bombs.
We kind of suck at it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, bring your questions for Paul as well. We'll see you on New Tech in 5 minutes.
All right, take it easy.